Dr. Oz Mehmet has spent years in the spotlight as a celebrity doctor with a popular daytime TV show.
Dr. Mehmet Oz says he will not be silenced by critics who say that his TV show promotes quack medicine.
More than 9 million people a week tune in to watch Dr. Oz give medical advice. The cardiothoracic surgeon has been criticized for promoting fad diets.
And now I've got the #1 miracle in a bottle to burn your fat.
The Dr. Oz show only recently came to an end following his announcement that he would be running for Senate in Pennsylvania on the Republican ticket. Today, the show isn't available to stream anywhere, and only tiny clips are available on YouTube. It may have something to do with the fact that the weight loss supplements and other magic cures in a bottle that he pushed on the show came under increasing levels of scientific scrutiny.
You may think magic is make-believe, but this little bean has scientists saying they found the magic weight loss cure for every body type.
Standard weight loss diets are as outmoded scientifically today as medieval bloodletting. Scientifically formulated products that will not only help you lose fat and lower your blood cholesterol level, but will also help you maintain a proper nutritional balance.
Dr. Oz rose to fame with appearances on the Oprah Winfrey Show.
That's a thin person's omentum. Now I'm going to show you.
Bad omentum.
Unlike his fellow Oprah alumni, Dr. Phil, Dr. Oz is actually a real doctor. He's a Harvard-educated surgeon with decades of experience, and he was operating on patients up until 2018.
See, I always thought that they were the same person, Dr. Phil Oz.
This is the Donner Party, Jeffrey Dahmer thing all over again.
I can't be bothered to memorize more than one person per
category. Dr. Oz specialized in heart transplants, and he holds 2 interesting medical patents. He patented a solution for preserving organs and an aortic valve that surgeons can implant without the use of invasive open heart surgery. All of these credentials and experience make it extra confounding how much quackery and pseudoscience he peddled during the course of his show. What quackery and pseudoscience, you might wonder? Well, there are so many flavors to choose from. I'm going to mention just a few. He's hosted psychics on the show, people who claim to be able to talk to the dead, including fellow shyster John Edwards.
Is there somebody who's about ready to get a new car, or is there somebody about ready to do something new with their vehicle?
No, I don't think so.
I think you guys have some fun stuff coming up.
And a miracle healer named Dr. Mosarraf Ali. Dr. Oz said of Dr. Ali's practices, "These are ancient traditions, and they have been around for centuries. So who am I to dismiss them? You're exactly the guy." You're the guy. So why would someone who's so well educated lend credibility to ideas that are dumb as hell? Well, many surmise that the answer is the oldest answer in the book: hot, fresh dollar bills. But we don't really have proof of that. According to the AP, people who worked on the production of the Dr. Oz show signed non-disclosure agreements where they promised not to disclose information about any business arrangements with the show's advertisers, as well as Dr. Oz's business and/or private life. His relationships with his advertisers and the people who come on his show to promote their vitamins and supplements have always raised an eyebrow of suspicion. The popularity of his show has led to what some people call the Oz effect. In the show's heyday, when he'd have something about raspberry ketones and their supposed effect on weight loss, suddenly the demand for raspberry ketones shot up through the roof, something that was previously totally unheard of. Who there? Out of all the BS supplements, Dr. Oz's favorite supplements by far are weight loss supplements. The man is obsessed with your fat.
Because we know more than ever about why your fat deposits where it does. This is not pinchable fat.
Right.
The liver will turn fatty. This fat liver afflicts 1/4 of the population. And then this omentum starts to get ponderously large as it pulls way across and becomes that big beer belly that so many folks have. Men after the age of 40 never buy a new belt size. What do? they slip the belt under the fat, right? And they walk around like this, and they waddle around like this all the time. It's not bad. Oh my goodness. Oh! The fat literally overgrows your body. It's uncontrollable. It overwhelms you. Unbelievable. If you look at this stuff, this overwhelming bulge of fat is what we experience.
If you drop an ounce of fat into a gallon of fat, the fat in that fat makes up less than 1% of the total fat. Fat, 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 and fat. Find the fat, 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 fat. And of course, fat itself.
He's peddled a ton of weight loss supplements, calling them magic pills and miracles in a bottle.
Now, here's 3 statements you made on your show. You may think magic is make-believe, but this little bean has scientists saying they found the magic weight loss cure for every body type. It's green coffee extract. Quote, I've got the #1 miracle in a bottle to burn your fat. It's raspberry ketone. Quote, Garcinia cambogia. It may be the simple solution you've been looking for to bust your body fat for good. I don't get why you need to say this stuff because you know it's not true.
Let's start with green coffee bean extract.
This little bean.
This was a big one.
Women and men who took green coffee extract lost an astounding amount of fat and weight. 17 pounds in 22 weeks.
The idea that green coffee bean extract could lead to weight loss was based on a study out of India that followed 16 people. So that's pretty small. These people were all self-reporting their diets, which is notoriously unreliable. Dr. Oz did answer to a congressional committee on the Hill.
I'm not going to argue that it would pass FDA muster if it was a pharmaceutical drug seeking approval, but among the natural products that are out there, this is a product that has several clinical trials. There was one large one, a very good quality one, that was done the year that we talked about this in 2000.
Well, I want to know about that clinical trial, because the only one I know was 16 people in India that was paid for by the company that was in fact, at the point in time you initially talked about this being a miracle, the only study that was out there was the one with 16 people in India that was written up by somebody who was being paid by the company that was producing it.
That was testimony he didn't have to give. He wasn't subpoenaed, it wasn't a legal proceeding. Congress just said, hey, will you do this? And he said, lights, camera, a captive audience, you were born for this, Mehmet, let's go. And so he sashayed in there very confidently, and he did, like, for someone who's obviously wrong about everything that he's saying, he does come off as, like, you can really see his charm and his willingness to lie, but in, like, a gentle, approachable way that makes you like him on some level. I don't know. The study wasn't getting anywhere until it came across the desk of the fine folks at Applied Food Sciences, who took the study, rewrote it, and then it started being used by marketers as a way to promote green coffee bean extract supplement. The FTC eventually sued Applied Food Sciences for $3.5 million, pointing out that they had simply repurposed an extremely flawed study and then had failed to verify any of the supposed results. Lindsay Duncan was one of the marketers who appeared on the Dr. Oz show. He appeared with the title card, Naturopath Doctor, which is not a doctor.
You know, I usually don't recommend weight loss supplements, but this one has got me really, really excited.
The FTC eventually settled with Duncan for $9 million. Next up is Garcinia cambogia, which sounds beautiful. It's the rind of a small yellow pumpkin-like fruit from Asia. I'm gonna be looking at my notes because there are a lot of big words. Apparently it contains hydroxycitric acid, which experiments have shown may have some effect on how we turn excess sugar into fat. Major studies that have looked into its weight loss effects have not shown that it does have any effect. It's one of those things where it's like, theoretically, this could work somehow, but when we looked at it in a big study, it didn't. So move on. But people like Dr. Oz are like, no, I heard weight loss in there somewhere at some point, so, you know, put it in a bottle, slap a label on it, let's move some product. In In 2018, Dr. Oz settled a class action lawsuit regarding false advertising for Garcinia, Cambogia, and green coffee extract for $5.25 million. Although never at any point did he acknowledge any wrongdoing. Another example, raspberry ketones, which sound delicious. When Dr. Oz promoted raspberry ketones for weight loss, there had not, as of yet, been any studies in humans. There were some studies that showed that raspberry ketones could raise adiponectin levels in mice fat cells. I don't know, I'm just skimming the abstracts. I'm not a doctor, and I would never lie to you about that. That is the Crooked Timber guarantee.
I'm glad we have evidence of you saying you're not a doctor.
Because I do give you
do quack medical diagnoses.
I do, when you eat half an apple pie, I do tend to diagnose you with early onset diabetes.
You got diabetes immediately, that's how it happens.
In order to get these supposed effects, Andrew, you'd have to eat 90 pounds of raspberries. So to get the raspberry ketones, they have to boil it down into this little
jam.
It's not a jam.
Nutritional jam, I love it.
I've read an article in Healthline that states that, guess what, you can also raise adiponectin levels by exercising. Boo, hiss.
Nobody wants to do that.
That sucks. Come on.
It's not easy.
Pill, I want a pill.
Scientifically formulated products.
I'm pinning myself because it's hot, but also because I'm furious.
It's a salesman, not a doctor.
Right. And the thing is, like, he makes a point in the Senate hearing is that he actually isn't selling them. He's like, hey, I'm just a platform for different people to talk about different ideas.
Has there ever been evidence of him investing heavily in a thing that he's currently promoting?
I don't know that that would be made public.
Right.
So I don't know. But that would make sense. But no, we can't say that that's what's happening.
Right on.
Cool. But maybe. Oprah Winfrey, for what it's worth, has endorsed his opponent, John Fetterman. Too little, too late, Oprah. Like, when is Oprah gonna be brought to task for the amount of absolute horseshit doctors that she's brought to the world? I want a Senate subcommittee hearing for Oprah's practices. Andrew brought up fiber and how maybe the way that these supplements work is just by moving things along in the poop department. Dr. Oz actually has a lot of really colorful things to say about bowel movements and the ideal specimen that you want to see looking up from you.
Looking up from the bowl at you.
Looking up from the bowl at you. He thinks that your turds should be brown with a hint of gold, shaped like an S, and should hit the water like a diver from Acapulco.
I've had that one. It's great.
I guess it's not surprising that he's an expert in shit, since he seems to be so completely full of it.
Oh!
Got him! Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's it for this episode. Thank you for watching if you got this far. Please subscribe and turn on the notifications. Sometimes we post every other week, sometimes we post once every 3 months. It's really in God's hands. So if you hit the notification bell, you'll be notified when we actually do get around to posting. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Well, the fastest way to lose weight is to stop eating, and you'll die.